why bunting is. We are through 2 here tonight. Well, down by 1. There's why bunting is.
Sorry for those of you podcast listeners out there. It's good for YouTube. The clip we just played, it's Bunting, a hockey player for Toronto, showing the ref that he's bleeding from his face. And the ref may have missed a call for a high stick because he's bleeding from his face. This is interesting to see. Daily Sports Podcast News, Narratives, Takes, Gambling. NHL referees have, on occasion, taken a penalty away, but they've never added a penalty. Like, oh, shit, I guess I fucked up. He's bleeding from his face. Maybe someone hit him in the face. Bruins beat the Maple Leafs. The Bruins are the hottest team in hockey. I think they're too hot. That's my opinion. I don't care. I've seen this before. The Red Wings in 96, 2000 and whatever, a couple of years ago, the year before the pandemic. So I guess it would have been 18-19. The Maple Leafs, or excuse me, the Lightning they tied the Red Wings for the greatest regular season hockey team of all time, and they got swept in the first round. So, yeah, I don't know. Here's the, I guess we're just segueing into hockey. Didn't plan on doing this. Standings, there they are. Just if you're not a hockey person. The thing to say is, if you want to sound like you are paying attention, the Bruins are good, but I think the Maple Leafs might be a better playoff team. That's not a real good take. The Maple Leafs haven't won a series in the playoffs in, literally since, Vietnam. I actually think the last time may have been the 90s? Early 90s, maybe 80s, sometime when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, somewhere around there, I think. So you can be like, the Bruins are good. Another good thing to say is, wow, how about them Devils? That's a good one. The Devils are a good one. The Bruins are a good one. And a surprise of the season, these new franchises, I tell you what, one good way to be good at hockey is to just become a new franchise. The Kraken are in first place in their division. Well, they're tied for first place, and it is a shit show at the top. But right now, they're in first place in their division. Huge news yesterday. We could have let off the show with this, but I didn't because I wanted to show the clip. Tom Brady retired. Kind of. So he just posted a video on Twitter or TikTok or whatever medium it went out on first. I'm retiring. He did say he's sorry, and he can't be emotional this time because he did that last time, and he's like, he can't do it twice. I do think this feels like a drug addict saying, I've decided to sober up. Yeah, I know that you think that. So here it is.
I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So
yeah, the process was not clean last time because it was a bullshit retirement, and you were canoodling professionally with the Miami Dolphins to become a part owner and then just get from the Bucs to the Dolphins and own part of the team with Sean Payton. Yeah, so that's why the process was fucked up. Just, I don't know. Okay, yeah, well, it was a bullshit retirement. Okay, continue.
Won't be long-winded. You only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year, so.
It was fake.
Really, thank you guys so much to every single one of you for supporting me.
Yeah.
My family.
You're welcome.
My friends.
Totally.
My teammates. My competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Peyton Manning recently said that when he retired the first time, after he unretired, Peyton, the whole thing with Peyton Manning writing people notes, he did that, and he's like, should I just ask for my note back? I'm not, what do I do now? Which kind of highlights this whole thing of Brady going back and forth. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's a drug addict. He has said, this is Andrew Beaton of the Wall Street Journal is reporting that sources close to the situation say that despite making $60 million a year or whatever it would be for Fox, he will not be participating in the broadcast of the Super Bowl, which makes sense. I think that Brady decided to go to the booth for Fox isn't going to happen. I think he's going to be too competitive. Troy Aikman very famously was like, it was really tough to do broadcasting because I never knew if I was successful, and then they missed the game and all that stuff. So he's not going to do that. Also, people really, really, really like Greg Olsen. I forget his partner, Kevin Burkhardt, I think. Yeah, but people like them. So they don't want Brady. And Olsen was like, yeah, it'll be tough to be demoted. He said that. Yeah, you got a champion, guys. Just It's just something that you say, when Brady's going to come to the booth, that's something that you tell your shareholders. So that they think, oh, money, look, people like Brady. And we would much rather see him on Bravo. Giselle Bundchen was trending along with that. Speaking of that, we have a huge thing in football. I think we've talked about this, maybe not, maybe I have. Jeffree Star, the YouTube megastar, I believe identifies as a gay man. He, during the pandemic, when I think his fortune really blew up, bought a secluded house and ranch outside of Casper, Wyoming, which is Natrona County. And Jeffree Star, kind of misunderstood by a lot of people. Definitely, I don't want to say flamboyant, but very proud of beauty products and things, and very interested in self-image. Also packing heat all the time. Definitely does not fit in Wyoming. Let me just make that clear. Jeffree Star traveled with an NFL player to his Casper Ranch for some post-season R&R, which would be a big news because right now, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but there's only one openly gay player in the NFL, and that is Carl Nassib, former Penn State player. I don't know where he is now. Bucks, maybe? I don't know. He's a C plus B minus defensive end, usually a rotational guy, just a good, solid pro who comes in for probably, I would guess, 40, 50 snaps a game, depending on the system. He came out during the pandemic. Now, Jeffree Star has tweeted 2 tweets, and the internet is ablaze. So the most recent tweet was the guy facing forward with the back to him, and his neck was covered up, which to me means neck tattoos. But I don't know. Allegedly, Jeffree says the guy is 6'6" and great in bed, which is something that is earth-shattering reporting here. So, of course, all of the people on TikTok who don't give a shit about the NFL are finding this out. I'm going to be very clear. I think it is Carl Nassib. They've done a lot of digging, and they think that it's either Kyle Rudolph, Carl Anderson, I think is the guy's name from Carolina Panthers, or Cole Kmet. I don't think it's any of those people. I think it is Carl Nassib. People immediately ruled Carl Nassib out because he posted a tweet of his dog. He's like, oh, it's not me. Well, I would ballpark 1,500 photos of my cat and dog on my phone. None of them could be up to date. You people would have no idea. It could be 10 years old. You would have no idea. So that's my take. That's what's happening around the internet. Who's Jeffree Star with? It is kind of a big deal. More openly gay players would be great, so then it could encourage more and more openly gay players, and then eventually people would just stop giving a fuck about this, which I think is where this is heading. I hope so. This is fun for now, and it's really great for the sport to get people who don't care about football into it. Anyway, that's what's happening with that. I think it's Carl Nassib, and I think usually the most boring thing is the thing that happens. So people kind of thought it might be Justin Herbert, which would be enormous, because quarterbacks are just more important than other people. Sorry, is what it is. Okay, so Tom Brady retires. Let's circle back to that. His retirement now, I have a take on the internet that I found from Ross Tucker, who has usually just trash takes, but I love this take. This is an interesting point to me. So he says, Aaron Rodgers on retirement. He was never giving up $60 million guaranteed regardless, but now there's a 0.0 chance Aaron Rodgers retires and plays second fiddle to Tom Brady Hall of Fame celebration 5 years from now. That is a great point. Whoever else retires this year, it's Brady's year. So Rodgers is going to want to retire in a year that is his year. It's his year. He's going to the Hall of Fame. I vibe with us. And now the Rodgers sweepstakes gets really interesting because Vegas and San Francisco were reportedly in on Tom Brady, along with other teams. They're not now. One of the reasons it felt like everybody in the NFL for the last 5 years has had a quarterback is because guys like Rivers held on, guys like Manning a little bit. You could say Roethlisberger held on, Breeze held on, and as a result of that, new people came in like Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, etc. And now you're like, look, kind of everybody either has a quarterback or is going to get one of these guys. With the retirement of all these old dudes, there are suddenly less quarterbacks. In the last, 6 years, I think I'm doing my math right, Manning, Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Rivers. Am I missing anybody? Matt Ryan. Also Matt Ryan. That was this year too. He just quietly was like, yeah, I'm done. J.J. Watt and Tom Brady. What a class that'll be. J.J. Watt, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan will probably all go at the same time. That's probably my guess. What a year that'll be. Urban Meyer was asked about the quick turnaround of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He said, well, they got a lot of players in free agency. Yeah, they did. They definitely did. They signed better players. You know who they didn't sign? was Tim Tebow. You signed that guy, now that I think about it. Barstool Sports Podcast macro dosing is PFT commenter, which is half of the Pardon My Take duo. I know that there are other guys in that show, but there are really only two and a half. And Arian Foster, who was the guest that Joe Rogan had 5-6 years ago that really got me into kind of podcasts. It was a really fascinating interview. Arian Foster, very smart dude. So he co-hosts his show with this guy, PFT commenter, and he sarcastically said something about the NFL being rigged, and people have really had a difficult time understanding that it is sarcasm. So now people are like, I saw Sports Illustrated pick this up, and they were like, Arian Foster says on Macrodosing Podcast that the NFL is rigged. And the way he said it was so funny. It was so clearly sarcasm. Now my computer's refreshing, so I don't have it. But it is absolutely throwing people through a loop. Here, I think I found it.
No player.
No, that's not the one. See, this is what happens when your computer refreshes. Here, let's try this one.
On Sunday, Arian was going to come up and join the live stream with us and watch the football game.
No, that's not right. See, I don't know why you guys do this. Just pin the clip that everybody wants to see go viral. It was objectively hilarious. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, here it is.
A cliff when you stopped believing it. What did you think when you got the script in 2016 that said your career was going to fall off a cliff when you stopped believing in God?
That was 2015.
Yeah, around there.
That was 2015, and oddly enough, the script writers, it didn't have anything to do with that actually. It just had more so to do with they needed a change of scenery in Houston.
It was time to go.
Yeah, it was time to go. So they.
That's objectively hilarious. So what did you think about the script in 2016 when your career fell off a cliff? I love that. Sports Illustrated saying that Arian Foster is claiming the NFL is rigged. That's where we're at. Like, here's the headline. Here's the tweet from Sports Illustrated. Sports journalism is not a thing. Former Pro Bowl running back Arian Foster said during the latest episode of his Macro Dosing podcast that the NFL is actually rigged, with players receiving scripts at their lockers during training camp every year. Fucking shameless. Shameless. Unbelievable. We'll get you out of here on this. The Chicago Bears have decided to keep Justin Fields as their franchise quarterback instead of drafting a quarterback number 1 overall. So they literally were not even able to keep the ruse up that they might draft a quarterback for a month. They couldn't make it a fucking month. No intrigue. Now they know that they're going to trade the number 1 overall pick, which says to everybody out there, like, you don't need to overpay for it. I told you, the Bears are going to fuck this up. They are going to fuck this up. They're going to trade from 1 to 7, and they're going to miss out on all the good players, and they will be mid forever. And the really weird thing is, man, Justin Fields better figure out how to throw the football, or that'll be bad for you. Okay, first weekend without football. The Pro Bowl is this weekend, whatever. First weekend without football this weekend. We'll preview some shit to gamble on and what to watch tomorrow. Okay, bye.